We want to invite the speakers to, any of the speakers join me here in the center, but we want to invite all the organizations and everyone who has joined us to stand with us. Those who can stand with us right here behind the podium on each side. We want to invite you to join us at this time so we can get this press conference started. Yo, please join us, more of us, all the electeds, community leaders, organizations, please stand here. We want to show our solidarity and our unity here. All right, good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the press who have joined us. We have Univision, KION, Telemundo, KZU, and others. Thank you for participating in this press conference. We're going to do a Q&A at the end of the lineup of speakers as well. I want to thank all our county staff that helped us set up this press conference and the equipment out here this morning. On behalf of the Monterey County Immigration Rights Ad Hoc Committee, I want to thank you for joining us for this press conference. I want to recognize all these dedicated elected officials, community organizations, county department leaders, labor unions, the Mexican Consul General, and leaders in law enforcement, education, healthcare, agriculture, hospitality, and many other sectors of our county. I want to recognize the elected officials that are here with us today, and we're going to recognize the organizations that have joined us that are not on the speakers list. These are electeds and leaders that are not speaking today. We want to recognize from the city of Watsonville, the Mayor Orozco, North County Fire District Trustee Ramon Gomez, Andres Rodriguez with Assembly Member Robert Rivas' office, Blanca Sarasua, Honorary Consul General, Council Member of Salinas, Gloria de la Rosa, City Manager of Salinas, Renee Mendez, Emmanuel Garcia, Congressmember Jimmy Pineda, Marissa Hernandez from Senator John Laird's office, Cesar Lara from the California Labor Federation, Ana Velasquez, Mayor of Soledad, Council Member of Soledad, Fernando Cabrera. If there's anyone else I missed, please send me that and we'll announce you at the end of our speakers lineup. We have come together because we all share concerns about what lies ahead for our immigrant workers and families across our county and across our nation. The wide impacts that it will have on their lives, our economy, our workforce, public safety, and many other aspects of all our lives. As the new administration transitions next Monday, just in 5 days, it is essential to reassure our immigrant workers and families that we will do all possible to safeguard their rights, stand with them, and do all possible to continue to provide a better life for them here in our county. Almost 1/3 of our 430,000 residents in Monterey County are foreign-born. That is more than any other county outside of Los Angeles. In light of the planned mass deportations and detentions and the recent Border Patrol enforcement actions in Kern and Fresno counties last week, our immigrant workers, our youth, and our families are already experiencing fear, anxiety, and intimidation. This is real today in our community. Let's be real, let's be clear. These immigrant workers are the backbone of our local economy. Our biggest industries depend on them, and they only want to give their families a better life here and continue to contribute to our local communities. They were called essential workers during the pandemic when our nation needed them, and now they are asking us to be there for them when they need us. That is why our Board of Supervisors unanimously approved its welcoming county resolution yesterday that reaffirms that no county resources will be used to enforce immigration law. We have also approved using our legal resources and our legislative advocacy in Sacramento and in Washington to advance and voice their interests. We have already launched a robust Know Your Rights campaign with a new bilingual county website, videos in multiple languages, 20,000 red cards, future planned forums throughout our county, and $25,000 to begin airing public service announcements on Spanish TV, radio, and social media. In the coming days, we are meeting with the County Bar Association, local lawyers, CBOs, and the Monterey College of Law, and others to also strategize on the legal assistance that will be needed in the months ahead. Our coalition will also be the eyes and ears on the ground to help our County of Monterey better deploy additional resources in the months ahead. The Salinas Valley and Monterey County as a whole has a long, rich history of different waves of immigrants coming here to find a better life and realize the American dream. We take pride in that history. We take pride in that hard work, that sacrifice, those dreams that brought so many diverse groups of people here to Monterey County. This is the time to remind ourselves of that, of our common humanity, those shared stories of sacrifice, hard work of our families, and how we always stand up for each other during these difficult times. With that, I want to invite my colleague, the chair of the Monterey County Board of Supervisors, Chris Lopez.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank you for being here today. It sends a signal when we stand together to send a message to our community that we stand behind them. There's a lot of fear in our community today, and when I look up here and see leaders from our communities throughout Monterey County, I also see leaders in education. It reminds me about the values that we've carried here, and I think one of the important things that Supervisor Alejo touched on was yesterday was not a new resolution. It was a reaffirmation. We are carrying forward our values, our belief in one another, and a belief in who we are as people in Monterey County, the birthplace of California. It's important that we hold each other up and that we stand up for each other. And in doing that, the education component of the campaign that we launched is critical. So I'm asking all of our partners and anybody out there watching to join us in that effort. Make sure that our communities are aware of what their rights are. That is the vulnerability that we have today. The other vulnerability is fear. The mental health resources that are going to be needed to respond to the fear and anxiety that exists within our communities that is coming out of the threats. We have to take people at their word. When they're promising they're going to do something, we have to plan, prepare for the worst. So today we're standing here saying that ahead of any sort of change, we are united in making sure that our community is best prepared to address the fear that is coming towards them. And we know that we're strong when we're together, and we are together as a community. And so I want to thank you all for being here as the son of an immigrant who came from Guanajuato, who now stands up here as an elected leader of this community, with my sister, who is a doctor at a local college. There are important things that come from immigration, and it is our values as people that lift each other up, knowing that the pathways that exist within this country will continue to call people like a beacon on a hill to a place where opportunity exists. The American dream is not dead. It will continue to call, and we must preserve that light. And so thank you all for joining us today, for being here with us. And with that, it is my honor to introduce my newest colleague on the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Kate Daniels, to the dais.
Thank you, Supervisor Lopez, and thank you so much, Supervisor Alejo. It is a privilege to be here with all of you today and to have been able to sign on to the resolution that was originally crafted in 2017. And I'm just here to say that it is so important to be part of a body and part of a county that is sending a very clear message to all residents of our community that we are going to do everything we can to ensure that if the rhetoric that we've heard over the last year or so comes to light and these mass deportation efforts occur, Monterey County is taking every step possible to ensure that our residents are protected. And what I would also just say, in case it's not mentioned today, it is unbelievable to me that the group of people that are being targeted by this rhetoric are the very people that feed us, are the very people that build homes in our community, that are the very people that are the caretakers for elderly, and that this targeting of a population, this scapegoating of certain people, and these statements that are being made that if we just rid our population of large groups of people, all the ills that society face will somehow be rectified, is absolutely it's just it's shameful. And so I'm proud to be part of a body that is proactively stepping up and telling our community there's going to be fear, there's going to be danger, but that we're doing everything we can to get in front of that and protect you. And so it's just a very proud moment for me to be part of this body and part of this county. And thank you so much to my colleagues for making today happen. And with that, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce the mayor of the city of Salinas, Dennis Donahue.
Well, I certainly want to applaud and acknowledge the county for their efforts, and in particular Supervisor Alejo for spearheading this particular initiative. And it is gratifying to see such a broad base of support coming together, united as a county. And in our first council meeting, the new council last night, one of the first things we did was restate that Salinas formally adopted a resolution to become a welcoming city in 2017. But I think we all know that that's who we are to begin with. That was just a formal resolution. But in reality, and I think this demonstrates it, that's who we are. And I do want to take note of, it is ironic that in 2020, farm workers were essential workers. And so they worked on our behalf, the country's behalf, so they do need to know we're standing with them today, and I'm certainly proud to do that. In the nature of our community, we have rich traditions, a lot of culture, and part of that is our relationship and daily and economic and cultural ties with our good friends in Mexico. So I'm delighted to welcome the San Jose Mexican Consul General, Alejandra Bologna, to follow me to the podium. She's been a great friend to Salinas and the county, and I'm delighted that she is with us here today.
Thank you so much, Mayor, and thank you, Supervisors Alejo Lopez, all the efforts that you have done to protect rights of our community. We are really committed at the Mexican Consulate in San Jose that we cover also the Monterey County, Santa Clara County, San Benito, and Santa Cruz counties to work all together to strengthen our alliance to protect our Mexicans' rights because we know they are hard work people. And I'm just going to say some important statistics that maybe some people didn't know. We talk about 6 billion remittances that we received last year in Mexico, but those remittances represent only less than 20% of their income in here. So the rest is the contribution they do to the economy of the United States. Also, there's some misunderstanding about paying taxes, but undocumented people pay taxes. And last year in 23, they pay more than $42 billion in taxes. So I will speak a little bit in Spanish. Quiero decir a la comunidad mexicana que el Consulado General de México en San José, con instrucciones precisas de nuestra presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum y de nuestro canciller Juan Ramón de la Fuente, estamos aquí para trabajar, para proteger y para acompañar a todas las mexicanas y mexicanos que se encuentren en este condado. Tenemos toda una estrategia legal de apoyo, de protección preventiva, invitarlos y tendremos siempre las puertas abiertas para que puedan tener sus documentos, para que puedan registrar a sus hijos e hijas como mexicanos y mexicanas. En fin, estamos reforzando y con las puertas abiertas para poder enfrentar y poder apoyar en cualquier situación vulnerable de nuestra comunidad. Thank you so much. And I introduce the sheriff of the county, Tina. Yeah, sorry, Nieto.
Thank you, everybody, and good afternoon. I'm standing here representing the Sheriff's Office, but I'm also representing your city chiefs of police. They said, Tina, please speak for us, as they couldn't be here. Look, at our Sheriff's Office, our mission is clear: to keep the peace and earn your trust. And this mission extends to all of our community, whether they're documented or undocumented, because trust and safety know no borders. People are scared. As soon as we found out about what was happening in some of our other counties, 2 of our counties, especially out in Fresno, we were getting phone calls at the Sheriff's Office saying, Sheriff, are we going to be doing the same thing? My family's afraid to go to the store. My family's afraid to send their children to school. My family's afraid just to go outside of the house. I want to assure you that here in Monterey County, the Sheriff's Office and your chiefs of police know what the rules are, understand what the Trust Act is, and we're going to follow those rules. So nothing has changed for us. But I know that in our communities, the biggest change is that fear. We're hearing it over and over again. Look, immigration is a big part of our nation's history, and it's a big part of its future. I wouldn't be standing here as the first Latina sheriff in the state of California if it wasn't for immigration, because I myself are Mexican of Mexican heritage. And when my families came over, they were hardworking folks who understood what the rules were, who paid their taxes, and stood as good community members. Monterey County, many of our undocumented neighbors work tirelessly enriching our communities. Again, our economy, our culture. And these people, these undocumented families, who are also a blend, because it's documented, undocumented, and U.S. citizens. We're blended families here in California. I'm a native daughter to the state of California, and we are just one big melting pot of a whole bunch of different rich cultures. That's why California leads in the things that we do. I truly believe that because of what peoples who come over to the United States looking for a better life bring to our county. I believe that immigration policies must reflect contributions and the humanity for those seeking better lives. So I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for passing the resolution that they did yesterday to tell the undocumented community that you're welcome here in Monterey County. At the Sheriff's Office, like I stated, we stand by laws like the California Values Act and the Truth Act, which safeguard the rights and the dignity of immigrants and ensure transparency in our actions. It is vital to remember that our role in law enforcement is not to enforce federal immigration laws. It is to protect all residents. Let me repeat, all residents of Monterey County. We are committed to building trust with every individual in our community, regardless of their immigration status. We don't even ask that question. Our focus remains on addressing crime, not immigration, ensuring that no one hesitates to report incidents or seek out help because of fear of deportation. The fear of deportation actually makes communities more unsafe. And so it's just, to me, I'm going to use my word, it's just silly to try to go and take a workforce that, as somebody addressed earlier, during COVID, were considered essential workers, and now we're trying to say, you don't matter. You do matter. You do matter, and we're going to do everything we can to protect you. In closing, let us uphold the values of Monterey County by fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment for all. Together, we can create a safer, more vibrant community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Keeping the peace and earning your trust means standing up for what is right, and this is right. And that includes supporting the undocumented members of our community who call Monterey County their home. Thank you. I'll now be followed by, where am I? County Superintendent Deneen Gus. Deneen, thank you.
Well, good morning, and thank you, supervisors, for the opportunity to speak at today's press conference. As County Superintendent, I am here to reaffirm a critical message that every child, no matter their immigration status or their parent or guardian citizenship status has the right to a free public education and to feel safe and supported in our school communities. Education is a fundamental right for all children, and our schools are sanctuaries of growing and learning, where every student deserves to thrive without fear of discrimination or intimidation. Our administrators, our educators, and our school staff are dedicated to creating welcoming environments where students and their families feel seen, heard, and safe. I want to assure parents that under current federal laws, schools are considered protected areas. Schools are generally prohibited from voluntarily granting access to campus by immigration officers in the absence of a judicial warrant or a court order. It's important for our parents to know. Equally important is the privacy of our students and their families. Personal information is kept confidential and will not be shared for immigration purposes without a court order or a subpoena. Schools are prohibited from requesting Social Security numbers or inquiring about the citizenship status of students or family members unless it's explicitly required by law. So to every family that may be watching this press conference, I urge you to please keep sending your children to school every day and to also create an emergency plan, including designating someone who can care for your child if needed. Open communication between schools and families is vital, and I encourage parents to feel comfortable reaching out to their schools with any questions or any concerns they may have. Schools are equipped with the information and the resources that support our immigrant families and have mental health supports available to students experiencing anxiety. And we do not want our parents to feel afraid to reach out to our schools. We are here for you. Lastly, education is not just a right. It's a key to unlocking success and building a better future for all of us. We want all students to feel safe and secure in pursuing their college and career dreams. And it now is my honor to introduce the next speaker, Norm Groot, the Executive Director of the Monterey County Farm Bureau. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for participating this morning, and I want to thank Supervisors Alejo and Lopez for spearheading the Immigration Rights Subcommittee, or Ad Hoc Committee as it's known. My dad is an immigrant. 3 of my 4 grandparents are immigrants, so this issue is very important to my family. Monterey County agriculture is a $4.3 billion economic sector that depends on 55,000 farm workers to harvest our crops each year, primarily immigrants. Some have resided in our communities for decades. Our fresh food supply and local economy are fully dependent on this workforce, and we consider this a national security priority in a time of agricultural labor shortages. Farming depends on a stable and reliable workforce, not one under threat. We appreciate the farm workers' vital contributions to the national food supply as essential workers. We cannot change the fact that farm workers were considered essential during the pandemic. The circumstances remain the same. They are essential workers. Farming operations stand behind the county's efforts to inform our local immigrant communities of their rights, and their jobs are secure and workplaces are safe. We look to our legislators in Washington, D.C. to solve the immigration policy failures of the past decades by offering a pathway to legal status, not one of threats and unwarranted enforcement. Farm Bureau has been a strong advocate for immigrant rights and public policy reform for over 20 years now. It's time we fix this policy failure at the national level, not by disrupting our communities or with threats of deportation. Our domestic food supply depends on immigrant labor, and our public policy should reflect support for our essential farm workers. And now I'll call up Rick Aldinger of the Monterey County Hospitality Association.
All right. Thank you, Norm.
Good morning. Hospitality is Monterey County's second largest industry, right behind our friends in ag. with a workforce of over 25,000 employees. The success of the hospitality industry and the vibrancy of our communities and our neighborhoods rely heavily on our immigrant partners and communities. These hardworking individuals are part of the fabric of our local communities. They are our neighbors. They attend our schools. They attend our churches. They are our soccer coaches, volunteer firefighters, and they're our friends. When Supervisors Alejo and Lopez created the Immigration Rights Ad Hoc Committee, we had no idea what an incredible job they would do. Along with several county staff working behind the scenes, huge progress has been made in a very brief period of time. Avenues of communication have been established among key players and industry leaders, and a comprehensive portfolio of resources has been put together that will help our workforce navigate whatever might lie ahead. And hospitality looks forward to working with the task force as we move forward. Our sincere thanks to Supervisors Alejo and Lopez, along with all of the supervisors, for their caring support for the residents, all of the residents of Monterey County. Next up is Maricela Ramirez with Centro Binacional.
Buenos días a todos los presentes. Mi nombre es Maricela Ramírez. Hoy represento a la organización Centro Binacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño. Trabajo como trabajadora y organizadora comunitaria. Yo hablo mixteco del municipio de San Martín Peras y hoy voy a dar mis comentarios en mixteco y español. Estamos muy agradecidas que el condado está tomando este esfuerzo de enseñar su apoyo a la comunidad inmigrante del condado. Y como hemos visto en nuestras oficinas, han llegado muchas personas de la comunidad indígena y han comentado que tienen mucho miedo. Y no solo de agentes de inmigración, sino también de rumores e intimidación que nos han acosado durante las últimas semanas. Hoy queremos reiterar que Centro Binacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño es una organización de lucha comunitaria enraizada en la protección de nuestras comunidades. Como comunidad indígena tenemos una historia de resistencia y lucha que no se deja intimidar. Como indígenas hemos sobrevivido genocidios, desplazamientos, discriminación y muchos ataques más. Este momento no nos quebrará. Por lo mismo nos pronunciamos para decir no al racismo, no a las fronteras, sí a la lucha y la resistencia. No están solos. Todos tenemos en este país, sin importar nuestro estatus migratorio, derechos. Si estás en una situación así, tienes derecho a guardar silencio y no enseñes tus documentos. Centro Binacional existe para apoyar y defender. Si tienen preguntas, por favor, visiten nuestras oficinas o llámenos al número 831-256-2942. Ahora voy a darlo en mixteco. Denskun doña Quijiña, Maricela Ramírez, Vizilla Bashiña, Cuentaña, Centro Binacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño. Cachuin Shiña, Shimina Yora, Cachuin Shina, na Bashinka Nyusi. Raña Tuña, Kain Tunda Viraña, Cuentaña, Ñuña, San Martín Peras, ya. Raña Viziaña, na cuando tashabin, una condado, Bashina da tuña na ana, ña, y yo con na chinziena, na jibina Bashinka Nyusi. Ratagu ña shinin tu mi oficina, ña andura kuaba mi na jibi shara, kachina y jibina. Raña tatu ña, y yo nara kachina da tuña, si jibiña amina, y yo kana jibi, si jibiña ara, y yo da tu. iyo kuaba tuun ya tuun kanara nya kada tuun ya kuaba mi nya ada tuun ya siji binya anara nya bitirada tuun ya tagu semana shani ya ikara kuaba mi na jibida tuun ya cuando ni van a sha oficina nya andu araña miña cuenta mi organización yo ora da tuña kuasha kuakuya bakachundu shina miera ta tuña chinsienya andura tagu kuanu ni ba nya shakoni na taba na yemi yo obada tu shakoni na nya taba ba na ye nya shani ku kisha na shibe ra nya kuanu ni kaba nya kisha na shiera bitia bashindu ka andu da tun sia yo nya yo ora da tu si kana kaba nya ara nya koni ka inshindo da tun nya bitira na casa shani ku nya na casa si ba na shi ra na kasi na ichinu he ra in kara nya istandu shi indora nya na tashin ke mi ebiti tia nya kunde mi do da tun du I yo ndu chinse nya andura nya bitira da tu konya kisha to ko tu tiura nya kushini nyu nya ndukun nya kuba nya ka shiina rasinga tin ingayada tu nya na tu nya huna tashani shana yuye nya centro binacional dentro chinse nya andu atu kura shando oficina nya andu atu kando número teléfono 831-256-2942. Ahora le paso la palabra a Elsa Jiménez, directora del Departamento de Salud del Condado de Monterrey. Gracias.
Buenos dias. Thank you for inviting me to speak on behalf of the county health system and to highlight the critical services we provide to our residents, especially our lower income, uninsured, underinsured, and those on Medi-Cal, regardless of residency status, information we do not ask for or collect. Over the past 100 years, the health department has been delivering critical public health services to the residents of Monterey County. We pride ourselves in being able to serve our low-income residents and Medi-Cal beneficiaries with complex needs and connecting them to a broad array of services needed in the areas of behavioral health, primary care, specialty care, chronic disease prevention, public health nurse home visiting, community health worker, and other public health services. Natividad has been providing high-quality hospital, trauma, emergency department, and specialty services over the past 138 years and will always be here for our community members, patients, and their families. We are pleased to be able to provide interpretation services in several indigenous languages, including Mixteco San Martin Peras, Mixteco Guerrero, and Triqui Copala, to better serve our residents whose primary language is not Spanish or English. If you find yourself in need of mental health crisis support services, please call 1-866-615-1060. A licensed professional will answer your call 24/7. To access outpatient mental health services, please call 1-888-258-6029 to make an appointment with our county behavioral health system of care. You may also access critical suicide prevention and crisis services by dialing 988. We urge the public to continue to access the array of services offered by the county health system. Please keep your appointments with your primary care doctor, your mental health provider, your specialist, your public health nurse, your WIC nutrition services, and others. We are here to support all of our county residents in achieving their well-being goals, especially in times like we are faced with today. I have some cards in the back right there on that light where they have all the critical numbers that I mentioned. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Roderick Franks, the Director of the County of Monterey Department of Social Services.
Good morning. First, I would also like to express my thanks to Supervisors Alejo and Lopez for initiating this effort and shepherding it to this point. I would also like to express my thanks to all of you here today, demonstrating your support. The Department of Social Services is committed to promote our county to be a caring and welcoming place for all individuals, families, and communities are safe, healthy, and self-sufficient. This, of course, includes all of our immigrant communities. Ensuring the safety of vulnerable adults and children from abuse and neglect is a primary mission of our department, and we are able to accomplish this mission without the necessity to inquire as to immigration status. I therefore ask that anyone, regardless of immigration status, who suspects abuse or neglect, to please call us to make a confidential report. Social Services also stands ready to support the health and self-sufficiency of our communities through the administration of community benefits such as CalFresh for food support, Medi-Cal for healthcare support, and our CalWorks program for employment services. Eligibility for some of these benefits is not contingent upon immigration status. Again, I ask that anyone interested in these supports please contact us to determine your eligibility or to be referred to other community resources when ineligible for certain benefits. You can find more information about any of these programs on our website or by simply calling 1-877-410-8825. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Francisco Rodriguez from the Monterey Bay Central Labor Council.
Thank you for that. Mi nombre es Francisco Rodríguez con el Concilio Laboral de la Bahía de Monterrey. Representamos sindicatos aquí en la Bahía y más o menos unos 36,000 miembros de uniones. Quiero expresar mi gratitud por los supervisores Alejo y López por organizar esto y a todos ustedes aquí presentes. Solamente queremos clarificar una cosa. Esto no es un ataque a inmigrantes. Esto es un ataque a trabajadores. Todos hemos leído ya los periódicos en los que se han arrestado a ciudadanos americanos, no porque son inmigrantes, sino porque son personas que parecen, según ellos, inmigrantes, ¿no? Y ya sabemos lo que eso quiere decir. Entonces, esto es un ataque a los trabajadores y lo que podemos hacer es organizarnos, unirnos a un sindicato para demandar cambios a las leyes locales, estatales, federales y demandar mejores salarios, mejores beneficios para estos trabajadores, todos los trabajadores. Entonces hay que tener en mente que esto no es un ataque solamente a inmigrantes, es un ataque a los trabajadores. Y lo mejor que podemos hacer es organizarnos, unirnos a un sindicato y demandar un mejor salario, beneficio y condiciones de trabajo para todos los trabajadores. Entonces, con eso, muchas gracias por estar aquí, muchas gracias a los organizadores y lo paso ahora al supervisor Alejo.
Thank you very much to all the speakers. We certainly want to thank all of you for this tremendous turnout from leaders from Monterey County, even from Santa Cruz County, for joining us. We appreciate this solidarity, this unity, and this backing for those that need us at this critical time. I'm going to ask, before we take Q&A, we're going to ask our speakers and maybe other leaders here to help us and answer some of these questions that we might have from our press. But we do want to recognize some folks that showed up as we began the program. We want to recognize our superintendent of one of our largest school districts in Monterey County, Salinas Union High School District, Mary Jo Galvan, over here. Evarista Banuelos, council member of Soledad, as well. Marina Camacho, our county recorder. I know she's here somewhere. And then organizations that were not on the speaking lineup, but that are here in solidarity with our immigrant community. Teamsters 856, Catholic Charities, Monterey County First Five, the Monterey County Agricultural Commissioner's Office, Community Alliance for Safety and Peace, Watsonville Law Center, the Monterey County Black Caucus, Building Healthy Communities, Community Action Board, and the Santa Cruz County Immigration Project, Center for Community Advocacy, we said Salinas Union High School District, Monterey County Council's Office, the Monterey County CAO's Office, Sonia De La Rosa, MPC, Monterey Peninsula College, Hartnell College is with us, the United Farm Workers, UFW Foundation. Thank you for being here. The Monterey County Civil Rights Office, Clínica de Salud del Valle Salinas, and the Monterey County Public Defender's Office. Did I miss anyone? We mentioned her. What else? United Way. Anyone else? Milpa. Thank you, Milpa. MPUSD. Thank you for being here. For Monterey Peninsula Chamber. Anyone else? Thank you very much. Let's give everybody a round of applause for just being here, supporting our people. To start the Q&A, we wanted to ask our county PIO, Nick Pasculi, who has been a great champion on this issue, helped us put a lot of things that we couldn't have done alone, but he wanted to, the first question, what resources are out there available? We wanted him to come up to first answer that question that has come up frequently. Let's give him a round of applause. Nick Pasculi.
Thank you, Supervisor Leo, and thank you for everybody to be here today. The county has developed a tremendous amount of resources that are available for the entire community, and I'm proud to say that we were able to put a website together for all the resources for immigration and as well as educational materials for the entire community within just a matter of weeks over the Christmas break. I do have a QR code here. If you're interested at some point, you can scan it. It'll take you right to the webpage. That'll take everybody to all the resources that are available. I'm also proud to say that the County of Monterey was probably one of the first county, if not the first county in the state of California, to put up educational materials, not just in Spanish and English, but also in 3 dialects of Mixteco and Traqui. That information is available on our website as well. In addition to that, we have printed and distributed, so far as of this morning, 15,000 red cards. These are red cards that are both English and Spanish, and so these have been distributed. And thank you to our Health Department Director, Elsa Jimenez, who just committed to helping me get at least another 20,000 or more so we can distribute them throughout the community and make sure that these get into the hands of people that need them. We will be having community forums, as Supervisor said. The first one is going to be on February 12th. We have flyers available. The flyers also on our website. And I'm proud to tell you that this press conference is being live streamed right now as we speak in English and in Spanish on YouTube and Facebook. We wanted to make sure everybody in our community had the opportunity to hear what all these wonderful speakers had to say and to see the solidarity of the people of the County of Monterey. Thank you very much, Supervisor Alejo.
So we printed 20,000 of those red cards, but we're going to be printing thousands more. So any organization that wants to get on the list to get some of those cards, talk to Nick Pasculi as we finish this press conference. Want to open up to any questions for any of our community leaders here today? Yes, let's go to Adriana, and then we'll go here next. Yes.
How many undocumented immigrants in Monterey County, and what will be the immediate response if ICE comes here to Salinas, like it was in Bakersfield? What is the immediate response from you guys if ICE agent were here in Monterey?
I think, first of all, that is why we formed this coalition, because we have many different partners throughout our county, and we want to be vigilant. That's what we said, we want to be the eyes and ears so that if we hear any enforcement action, that we could verify it, because there's been already rumors that we had a border patrol in Salinas, Seaside, Gilroy, usually, and maybe our sheriff could help answer this, usually when they're doing an enforcement action, this is the lady they first inform, or one of our police departments. So maybe she could elaborate on that question, this question.
Yeah, what I'd like to say to the public is just because you see an ICE vehicle doesn't mean that they're doing something, because we had to deal with a bunch of rumors here in our own county when they did the operation in Kern and out in Bakersfield. So if they do respond here, I will know ahead of time, but I'm also part of the ad hoc committee. What we're asking the public to do, because as your sheriff, I can't get involved with other law enforcement's missions. That is illegal for me to do, but we would send out the alarm so some of these groups that are helping us out could get out there and make sure people know what their rights are that are getting stopped. But I want to encourage all the groups out there to get those red cards, to educate the groups that you work with about what their rights are, because we don't want to get there too late and somebody gets picked up, for immigration status that doesn't belong in that system.
Supervisor Lopez, you want to answer on the red card issue? It's come up frequently recently.
So what's coming up in our community is folks are being charged for these red cards. And I want to be clear that what we're distributing out to the community with our partners are absolutely free. No one should pay for those cards. They are a resource. They are out there. You can even download it online for free and have it on your cell phone as a digital image. So just know that you should not pay for that information. It is free to you on the website. And more importantly, anybody who's charging you for that should be ashamed of themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to jump in on this question? But in terms of the numbers, I think the numbers by the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimate that 42% of our agricultural workforce is undocumented. There hasn't been an exact census on how many undocumented here, but I know it's over 50,000 at least undocumented residents, thousands of more who are dreamers, undocumented young people as well. So this impacts people of all ages, all backgrounds. Yes, yes, please.
Thank you, Supervisor. To the question about the rapid response, what will happen if ICE or if we hear there's an action being taken in the county? We're lucky to have the support of Watsonville Law Center, Santa Cruz CAB, Centro Binacional, BHC, and a coalition of nonprofits and other organizations. I see Rain Quintanilla también from Community Bridges, but we'll be working together to build up again the rapid response network. Right now, I think Adriana Malgoza, Watsonville Law Center, is doing her best to reactivate that number to make it active. So if there are sightings, if there are actions, that we can work with attorneys from organizations like CCIJ and others to have that rapid response at detention centers, at immigration courts. And so once we have word of that, once it's active, we will let everyone know. But that is in coordination right now. Thank you. Oh, my name is Clarissa Reyes Becerra. I'm the Programs Director for Centro Binacional para el Desarrollo Indígena Oaxaqueño. We have our offices in Salinas and Greenfield, as well as in Fresno and Madera. And we are here, as my compañera Marisela Ramirez said, to defend and support the immigrant community here and the indigenous community in Monterey County. Thank you.
Solamente adicionar, además de que conozcan sus derechos, que es muy importante que la comunidad esté informada, el consulado puede apoyarlos si se comunican o algún familiar se comunica con nosotros, ya sea para la reubicación de menores con otros familiares, ya sea para cualquier situación que hayan dejado pendiente en donde podemos orientarlos, apoyarlos, incluso si algunos de ellos regresan a México también para que se les acompañe en este retorno.
Thank you. And I just want to say, if we do get any reports of any enforcement actions, please contact our office, because we could contact our sheriff, we could contact the police chiefs in any of our 12 cities to see if they got any verified notices of any enforcement actions within our county. We want to get accurate information out to our community and not create more fear when unnecessarily and anxiety unnecessarily. Any other you had a question here? Yes.
Yeah, clearly this is all about a united front, and there's obviously a united front here in Monterey County. By all accounts, the new administration is every bit as determined, and the federal government has a whole lot more resources. So how prepared are you? How far are you willing to take this? What might we see?
Well, first of all, we've been here before. We were here back in 2017. Cities, community leaders, all these folks that are here today were here in 2017 doing the same type of advocacy. And just on the legal side, there were many efforts that here, our county was a plaintiff in numerous lawsuits where we were able to prevail in federal courts on behalf of our immigrant communities. We look forward to doing the same. It might be different this time. There's a different change in the House of Representatives, in the U.S. Senate, in our Supreme Court, and of course, in the presidency. So it may be different. It's likely to be worse than 2017, but that's why we're together. We need everybody's help. We need to strategize together, plan together, and do everything possible. There is some limits, of course, because we don't enforce federal laws, but anything within our means, we're going to do everything possible to stand up for the most vulnerable, those who work so hard in our community as well. I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that. Yes.
Alex Mars from the Public Defender's Office. Regarding your specific question, prior to 2017, our office did not have an immigration specialist, thanks to the County Board of Supervisors being able to fund positions like this, advising our clients of what their rights are, what the immigration consequences are of any charge. Disseminating good information is how we're going to be able to beat this. I understand that your question, well, the federal government has so much more power. How many of us have had a piece of metal or a rock in our shoe? That shoe will stop you, right? We're that little rock that's going to stop that big juggernaut, and it's just going to take all of us working together.
Thank you, sir. All right. Other questions here? Yes.
In the past, we have seen the Sheriff's Department in our county jails, and I want to ensure, that it is said in public right now how this administration, sheriff's administration, is going to protect our nonviolent jailed people and their families from these coming deportations.
Great, and maybe our public defender, our DA, and our sheriff can answer that.
So in 2014, the Trust Act was first passed in our state, so in the state of California. Then in 2017, they they revised the Trust Act. In 2018, SB 54 is called the California Values Act. And these are specific rights that people have that say what a sheriff can or can't do, or anybody who runs a jail in the state of California. So we're guided by California law. We have new administration coming in, and let me use like what I would suspect the new administration's words would be. This is silly, this is stupid, this is dumb. We're going to protect the people in this county, and we're not going to do things that don't make sense. What I can say, though, on the other side of the coin, is that if we have a violent felon, a rapist, a murderer, somebody who molests our children, then we would work with our federal partners to make sure that the hammer of the law comes down on these people, because that's what our community expects. For the nonviolent folks, though, we don't call them in. We would be violating the law, and we can't keep your trust or earn your trust if we do that.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
What kind of resources can undocumented students in the county expect?
Maybe from our county superintendent? Great.
So all schools have immigration board policies already in place. We're very fortunate that our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, provided model policies to schools years ago. He's recently revamped those resources. All schools have a quick reference guide that tells all school officials how to respond step by step. Typically, what you would see is if an immigration enforcement officer arrived at a school campus, they would be stopped in the office. They would be asked, do you have a judicial or court warrant? They would have to prove that they do. And we are equipping our schools, again, thanks to Attorney General Rob Bonta, where he's given us examples of what an ICE warrant looks like versus a judicial warrant, so that we can educate our parents and we can educate our staff what is real and what is not real. And then most schools are going to call their legal counsel if there is a legal document provided to them, to have it reviewed, to have it checked, to make sure, in fact, that if they do have to cooperate. But right now, schools are prepared to make sure that they are supporting our students and families in every way they can. We're providing Know Your Rights workshops. We are providing the red cards. We are providing access to mental health support for students and families who might be experiencing anxiety. And we are making sure that all of our team members know how all of these regulations operate. The other thing to point out is there are two pieces of legislation that have been recently introduced as they relate to schools. One's an assembly bill, one is a Senate bill, and those those two pieces of legislation would give schools even more power to ensure that immigration enforcement activities are not occurring on school campuses. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you, and we did support that bill just yesterday. Supervisor Lopez sent out a support letter behind Senate Bill 48. We want to acknowledge that our Attorney General was just here last Friday in Salinas meeting with local organizations. Two things on what he said. He's going to be very vigilant, and that's why we need everybody's help. Also looking out for scams, preying on our immigrant community. We've known historically los notarios, other businesses sometimes set up all of a sudden in our community trying to take advantage of the fear that our families are facing. So we're going to be vigilant on that. And also, if any agencies violate state law and trying to use resources to enforce immigration law, there is a link on the website we created to the Attorney General's office where anybody could file a complaint and report that to California Attorney General Rob Bonta as well. We're going to take one more question, and then we'll wrap up this up.
Hello. I want to thank Supervisor Lopez, Supervisor Alejo and Supervisor Lopez and everybody involved in this effort for their job. And let you know that in the South County you have helping hands that can contribute with you guys. Anything that we can do, we will do it. But my question is, many of you share and said that you will not do anything unless there is a court order or mandate. What if the incoming president decides to put a, what do they call it, executive order or a federal judge orders that to accomplish that, to contribute with the federal government? Are we already thinking on that ahead? What are we going to do? What can we do? Is there anything that people in the South County can do to support you guys, your efforts?
I think to answer that, if moment arises, we will strategize with everyone here today. But I think that that language was put in because there's a recognition that even under the California Values Act, SB 54, that was a question that already allowed limited cooperation for the violent offenders, the most serious offenders within our jail. That would just reside in state law, and that's why that language made that distinction, because people said, it need to be clear that for those that commit very serious violent crimes, there is that immigration consequences still factored into SB 54, and that's why the resolution reflected that caveat in state law. With that, I want to thank everybody for coming here today. I want to thank my co-chair of the Ad Hoc Immigration Rights Committee, Supervisor Lopez, all my colleagues, and all of you for being tremendous leaders for the people of Monterey County. With that, we would do individual interviews after with some of these leaders. Thank you very much for coming today. Gracias. And thank you to Veronica Miramontes. I think I forgot to announce you, school board member, MP USD. Thank you. Yes. Hi, thank you very much. Yes.